Nearly all the time when I'm writing songs, I always try and come up with a backstory for the song, which might not even be obvious to anybody when they read the final song, but it helps me to write it because it gives me a structure or some kind of little fairy tale that I'm dreaming up or telling, and by the time you've attached the words to it, it needn't bear any relationship to what the actual story is, you know. So I tended to work like that when I was writing the songs. All I had to go on was a CD of guitar music with no drums, no rhythm instruments at all. It was just pure guitar riffs that were arranged in just a set of different riffs, and some could have been verses, some could have been choruses, some could have been middle eights, whatever. And there were several ideas, and Roy sent me about 18-20 different ideas, and I just clamped on a set of headphones and wandered around with a pad and a piece of paper, and sat listening over and over and over until little words started dropping in my head. You know, till the little leprechaun started talking to me. And it's the same thing that schoolboys do when they get bored in a physics lesson and they stare out the window and they have the most amazing daydreams, and you know, wow, and there I was, you know, in my Spitfire battling World War II. It was the, you know, chalk duster hits him on the head. Pay attention. Oh, sorry. No. Well, you know, I'm lucky I can actually make a living out of daydreaming and staring out the window. And it's what I do when I write lyrics and write tunes. As the album started to take shape, and I realised that there was a little theme going through a few things, I thought, well, if there's a theme, without trying to push it too hard, let me just bear the theme in mind and see if anything springs to mind about some of the other things. The song that first started it off, bearing in mind I had some songs already, but we'll talk about those in a sec, but the song that first started off this little journey was Navigate the Seas of the Sun. And it was one of those, it always starts with Roy phoning me up at 2 in the morning at home and going, oh, I'm having a great time and I'm having a blast and I've got all this really cool stuff. And he said, just take a listen to this. I'm always listening to stuff down at the end of the phone. And he played me this thing, and I just, the first things that came into my words were, you know, so we go and will not return, we'll navigate the seas of the sun. Don't ask me why. It just sounded like they were just drifting through space on this wonderful journey. So I wrote that down and I thought, that's a great line. And at that moment, irrational as it may seem, I thought, I bet you we've got a great album now. And it just seemed like the right time to do it. I've been frankly, a bit gun shy of trying to do another solo album after Chemical Wedding, because regardless of how many units it sold or didn't sell, and it wasn't on a major label and it wasn't here, there and everywhere, I know it was one of the best albums of the year, and I'm very proud of that fact. But at the same time, it's very scary because I did an album which a lot of people were influenced by, and there's not many albums you do like that in your career. Chemical Wedding was the first one of my solo albums that excited me as much as it excited everybody else. You know, I mean, there are other albums like Skunk Works which I thought were pretty interesting, and which people ummed and ahed about, and some people thought they were great, and some people, you know, couldn't stand it and everything else. But Chemical Wedding was one which was pretty universal, and so it was a tough one to follow up. And it was difficult because of the environment I was in afterwards. Obviously, you know, I was touring with Maiden, and we did a great album. I mean, Brave New World. I don't think I could have done Brave New World if I hadn't done Chemical Wedding, in a funny roundabout way. Because I went into Brave New World songwriting wise feeling, you know, unbelievably confident. And so anyway, so we did some great albums with Maiden after that, and obviously we did touring, and Roy was unavailable. He was off doing the Halford album, which was superb, and now the Priest album that's got all the acclaim. But in the process, obviously, he was up against schedules, and both albums overran. And I know Roy, when he works with other people, and to some extent when he works with me, but I think a lot when he works with other people, he really pushes himself, and he finds it hard when he's not allowed to just go with the flow in terms of his ideas, because he knows instinctively that his ideas are really good. And with me, I think we work, we're very relaxed the way we work.